Hello and welcome to the Granite State Yarns podcast. My name is Lauren and I am coming to you from the great state of New Hampshire. You can find me on my website, www.granitestateyarns.com, as well as on Instagram at Granite State Yarns. So this is my podcast where I talk about all of my knitting and yarn dyeing adventures. Welcome to anybody who is brand new. Welcome back to all of my viewers that are coming back for another watch. This is my first podcast in about a month, so I might be a little rusty. I'm outside in my backyard and, on my deck, which is in the back of the house. And there are a ton of birds, as there always seems to be. And one of them is squawking in the tree back there, and there's a bunch of like sweet little birds tweeting, whatever. So hopefully it sounds okay. I don't know, I kind of like the birds anyway, so I think it's kind of fun. So anyway, yeah, it's been about a month since my last podcast. We have been very busy at my house. We had a camping trip. We were gone for about a week, almost a week for that. And it's just been like trying to catch back up with everything. We got sick right after. And so I was just way behind, spent a lot of time catching up with my dyeing. I did a big shop update. So that's been going on. And finally, I'm sitting down to record this podcast. I have had a couple of videos. I did a Yarnable unboxing recently, and then I did a vlog when my girls and I went down to Cape Cod for a yarn haul. So if you haven't watched those videos, please take a look at them. They're a lot of fun. It was kind of fun to do a vlog for the first time. I really enjoyed that and would like to do some more going forward, but we will see when the next big vlog will happen. So follow along on Instagram, and I'll certainly post on there whenever I have anything new. You can also, if you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, get notified whenever I upload a new video. So it's been a lot of fun, and I've really been enjoying, chit-chatting with everybody down in the comment section or on Instagram. Like it's really been cool. I've met a lot of really fun people. So thank you so much for all of your support, everybody who's commenting and chatting and messaging me and buying yarn. Like, you're great. Okay. Totally great. Love you all. Thank you so much. So because it's been a month, I have a ton of stuff. Hopefully I do not get confused and forget where I was and whatever. I'm going to do the best that I can. I thought, I should sit down and write show notes, but to be honest with you, the time that I'm spending to do the show notes, I might as well just pull everything out and we'll wing it and see what happens, right? I mean, let's just go for it, okay? So let's start with finished objects. Let me just, I've got like I'm like, I'll just quickly wipe my camera here, and it's not like anyone's going to see it, right? Da-da-da-da-da. Just seems like everything's a little foggy. Okay, I think we're better now. I'm telling you, I am so such a mess. Professional podcaster over here. I am not. Okay. So anyway, let's start off with finished objects. First, I'll talk about my spring Fang shawl. I did this colorway for the Between Knits and Pearls podcast, I think about a month ago, 2 months ago. Actually, yeah, probably coming up on 2 months ago. And the ladies over there, Steph and Emily, asked me to do a colorway for their podcast, and I was really excited to do that, and I did. So this is the Treasured Friends colorway. It's like a neutral background. Like, it's got I put a little bit of gray in the water, so that way it would be just like a wash of gray essentially. And then there's some magenta speckles as well as some gold speckles on there. So, and it also came with a mini skein in raspberry, which is the same color as those magenta speckles. So this was a lot of fun to do. They did a birthday cast on and decided to do anything. I think the rules were to use, you could probably use, I think it was to use the Treasured Friends colorway. And the pattern that was chosen. You could do any pattern that you wanted, but the one that Steph and Emily are both doing is the Spring Thing by Pico. And that was a free pattern, so that was really cool. So I decided that I would knit one along with everybody else, and this is mine. It's a asymmetrical triangle. Let me take it off here so you can take a look at it a little better. Yeah, so it's an asymmetrical triangle. It's big, so you're not going to be able to see it all. So you can see that this side is a little bit shorter than this one. And it's a really simple pattern. Very, you know, it's just garter stitch, and then the increases were really simple to do. The decreases were really simple. You started on one end, increased to get to the point of the triangle, and then decreased. So it was really quick, nothing essentially to cast on or bind off, which is really nice. That's the way I really like a shawl. Yeah, and then you pick up stitches to add the border, and then you do these fun little tassels. So it was really fun. It took me, I don't know, a week or two. Not so bad. Love it. So I've been wearing this one a lot. It's nice, bright pink, goes with anything. So very fun. That was a lot of fun to do that. So thank you very much for that fun knit along, Emily and Steph. Emily is away on her honeymoon right now, and Steph is moving. So they're both really busy. Hope everything is going well with the both of them, and yeah, we'll catch up. So that was my first finished object. I also have a couple pairs of socks. These are my leaf peeping. This is my leaf peeping yarn. I don't know if I had a name for these socks specifically. That's what I'm trying to think of. But anyway, they're done in DK weight yarn. This is the first time I've ever knit socks in DK weight yarn. I've done like fingering held double, but this one is DK. I think it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon blend. So it's DK weight yarn that's made specifically for socks. Again, this was my leaf peeping colorway. I do have one more skein of that I found that I just added to my shop just now. So it might still be there by the time you take a look by the time you watch this video. The pattern is one that I had pulled from the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible. And it was some like leaves, and I thought it would go really well with this with the yarn. So I'm just kind of playing around with adding, you know, stitches from a dictionary into a sock pattern. And so these are a mirror image. You can see it's subtle, but like the last leaf here, this one kind of points off in this direction. Actually, I think they might point, well, the leaf itself kind of goes off in this direction, and this one goes off in this direction. Same thing at where they started. The first leaf is on this side and then on this side. So I did a twisted rib up here on the cuff. I don't remember all the details of like how many rows I did. I want to say I can count it quick, but it looks like, I think it was 15 rows maybe. All right, let me count it. 3, 5, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, that looks like 15. I forget, like I said, I don't remember all the details that I did here. I didn't have I had a fair amount of yarn left over. So these are to fit a size 8.5, size 9 in women's. The leg is on the shorter side. I did have a little bit more yarn left over, so I probably could have done a few more rows here to make the socks go a little bit longer. Certainly if I had a mini or something to do the heels and toes in a contrast color, I could have made it go a little bit longer, but really they're fine. I like them. I like this length anyway. I'm not a huge fan of them being super long. And these are for my daughter too, and she also doesn't like her socks too long. I mean, I don't know, I could probably make them any size and she'd be happy. She's such a sweetheart. But yeah, so these are all done and she'll be very happy. I finished this, gosh, over a month ago, so she'll be really happy to get to wear them now. And the weather's starting to get a little bit cooler, so perfect weather for DK socks. So those are done. I also have, let me put these on my sock blocker, another pair of socks, and this one is for a Christmas present for one of my daughters. The first one was for my 13-year-old, and these are for my 8-year-old. They are done in Knit Picks Felici, and I am totally blanking on the colorway. Maybe it'll come to me as I'm talking about them. But I love these socks. Love them so much. This color is so fun. Yeah, I cannot remember. I'll look up the color. I know that it's one of the latest updates in Felici yarn. So as far as I know, they're still on the website, and I will look it up and link it down below. But these are essentially like vanilla socks. I did a rolled cuff here. If you like this look, you can look for the Rose City Rollers pattern. That's a free pattern, and that's essentially what I did here. I just kind of like did my usual vanilla recipe, and then I just did a rolled cuff. I want to say I did 15 rows of stockinette, and then it just makes a nice little rolled cuff here. This yarn is from Hue Loco. It was part of her backyard chicken collection from last year. So I don't remember the colorway for this one. I just had some leftovers and just added it in because I thought it went well with the pinks and purples that were already here. It's like a nice little lilac purple color. So yeah, I think I did these 56 stitches. Again, I finished these a month ago, so I'm trying to remember everything, and I'm not really good at note keeping for everything. And I don't have my notes anyway, even if I did. But yeah, I'm almost positive these were 56 stitches. Yeah, super fun. And I did this with just one ball of Felici. It's a great part about just doing little shorty socks, especially for a little kid. You can definitely get a whole pair done with just one ball, and I still have a fair amount of yarn left over. If I'm concerned about making the match like these, then definitely short socks. But if I'm not so worried about them matching, I can definitely get a longer pair. But since this was just for an 8-year-old, I forget what size she wears, these worked out just great. Like I said, I still have a fair amount of that yarn left over. So super cute. I have to wait till Christmas to give these to her. Kind of impatient about that, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm knitting socks for all of my kids for Christmas. These are the first ones that are done. And now I'm gonna move into works in progress, so I will show you the other Felici pair that I'm working on for my son. Just gotta remember what bag it's in because I have a ton of bags here. Let's see. I picked the right one. These are my knitting kitties. My friend sewed this bag for me, which was super nice of her. And this is my Felici socks in the Base Jump colorway. And I'm knitting these for my son, who's 3. And I decided to try the spiral socks, like the no-heel spiral socks. There's a few different patterns you can look for online. I didn't use a specific pattern. I've learned about this idea to do a spiral rib the whole sock, so that way you don't make a heel. And I thought it would be a good idea to do for my 3-year-old because he's growing so much. He has got big feet and he is growing like a weed. So I didn't want to knit him socks and then have him grow out of them really quickly. So I thought this would be fun to try. So like I said, I didn't use a specific pattern, just this idea that I've seen in a few different patterns before. I was camping at the time when I cast this on and didn't feel like looking it up and using up a bunch of my data, although I ended up using a ton of data anyway while I was gone. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So what I did for this is it's a knit 3, purl 3 rib, and then every 5 rows I move down 1 stitch, if that makes any sense. So like the first 5 rows, it was knit 3, purl 3, and then repeat all the way around. I did 60 stitches. And then on the 6th row, I purled 1. actually, no, what I did, because I'm just going in a loop. I knit 4 and then purled 3, knit 3, purl 3, all the way around until so it would end up, I don't know. I have to think about this for a second, because I'm not doing this, because they're on 9-inch circulars. I'm not like counting so much. Like, I have the rib marked here, that this is the one that I will just knit 4 on, and then go to the purl 3, knit 3, and then do that all the way around until I get back to this one again, and then I count 5 rows up and then knit 4 again to go around. Does that make sense? I have to like think about this on how I would write up a pattern to make it really clear. I hope that makes sense. If not, like I said, there's a bunch of patterns that do this very same thing if you want something that's just a little bit more organized. But it's working. It's totally working. So you can see it's spiraling. And then it's super stretchy. So like, I'll put it on my hand to show you. You can kind of twist it, I think, to make the ribbing a little bit more straight. And it looks better on a foot, but you'll see that because it stretches so much, it'll stretch over a heel really, really well. And I did try them on my son when they were about, maybe, I don't know, about this long. And it went about the length of his foot, so I could kind of see how it would be stretching over his heel. And it seems to work just the way it's supposed to. Fancy that. So I'm going to knit these a little bit longer until I can get these about as long as as possible. I would like them to match too. So I'm not sure how many repeats I'm going to have. I really should probably measure my yarn to figure out how many more. I think what I was hoping to do is to get at least 2 repeats of the color. So that means I still need to do the orange and the teal, and then pick some contrasting color from my scraps to do the toe. And I think that will give me a decent size sock that's long enough for him that he'll be able to grow into them a little bit more. I might do a few more stripes though. I haven't fully decided. I think I'll try them on him to see exactly how big they are, because I want to give him enough room in the leg, because otherwise I don't know if it would really fit. Like, it wouldn't really fit well as like an anklet sock or a shorty, you know. I think it's got to have a little bit of length. I mean, I still have quite a bit of yarn left here. I have a cozy here from Midwest Stitches. She very nicely sent me over as a surprise a couple of yarn cozies. She thought it would be nice for the stitch along happening in October. So she sent me this one, and then I have another one. I have another one somewhere. It's orange. But I will link her shop down below. I have been using, these are the first yarn cozies that I've ever had, and they are very soft, really nice. They do really well. So I put this one on this yarn because my 2-year-old got into the yarn we were in the car, and I had my project bag just like next to her seat. Well, actually no, my project bag was in my diaper bag, and somebody put it next to her, and she was able to reach into my bag, get the project bag, get the yarn out, and pulled a bunch of yarn out. So my joke is that, you know, if I have this yarn cozy on there, then certainly the 2-year-old can't get to it anymore. She'd still figure it out. She's great. But maybe it'll at least thwart her efforts for a little while. Whatever. It really wasn't a big deal. She did pull off a bunch of yarn, but it was not like, you know, oh no, ruined the project. It wasn't a big deal. It took me like 5 minutes to get everything wound back up again. So anyway, yarn cozy, if nothing else, looks really cute on there. There's that sock. Working on it slowly. I don't usually knit a 9-inch circular. I just think they're a little bit kind of fussy to work with, but I'm trying it this time and actually enjoying it. Not so much. It's not so bad. I also am surprised because I usually don't really like doing the ribbed cuff part of the sock. That's I don't know. I don't know what it is about. I think maybe it's like ribbing just seems like it goes so much longer, but I'm actually enjoying it, even though this entire sock is ribbing. I don't know. It's going well. Maybe it's just like the way that it spirals. It's just kind of fun. And then obviously self-striping yarn always seems to just knit up really quickly because just like one more stripe. So I don't know. I'm really enjoying this project. It's been a lot of fun and kind of cool to try something different without the heel, you know, again, try to see if it's gonna, like, so the thought was, like I said, my son, that way he can grow out of it, or he won't grow out of it. The sock will fit longer, hopefully. And then, yeah, so the other thing is there's different toes that you can do. I've seen, like, you can do more like rounded toes, like, so that way there's no specific orientation to make it work. And then the heel, not only would as you grow, you'd be able to, you know, it's going to fit. It won't wear out in specific spots. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to do my usual rounded toe, you know, the usual one. So then I guess there'd be like the top, there wouldn't be a top or a bottom. I don't know. I don't know why I'm worried about him wearing it out. Like, whatever. He's probably not going to wear them out. He doesn't really wear socks like this very often anyway. He's usually barefoot. He wears these for, like, you know, with his church shoes or something. So, like, big deal, once a week. I don't know. We'll see. So the other thought was, with the spiral sock, is if you're knitting for gift knitting and you're not really sure what size your recipient's foot is and you don't want to ask them, because like maybe you want the socks to be a complete surprise, you can do a sock like this and then it will fit anybody. So pretty cool. Anything? Oh, here's the other cozy. It was in the bottom of this bag. This one's orange. Isn't it cute? So yeah, this will be really nice for Halloween, you know, fall. Really great. Boy, I'm sorry, that was like really scattered. I'm like running around all over the place. What else? Anything else? Is another, this is more Felici yarn for my 2-year-old. I had this down in the bottom because, you know, when I went camping, I'm like, oh, I'm totally going to get through multiple skeins of yarn, right? No. In fact, it's still there. Oh, and then this, I have this little needle minder thingy that I got at Adventures in Knitting down in Cape Cod. I already talked about these on my on the vlog, but this red one here fits my size 0 sock needles perfectly. I have another one that's a little bit bigger, and I haven't yet tested out where that one will work. I think it'll probably work on my size 2s. So this is fun, especially with like the 9-inch. I was worried that they're gonna fall off, and it actually is really hard to get this off. So it might even thwart my 2-year-old. So that's cool. So that's those socks. Close this. All right, next one. Let's keep talking about socks. These socks are, actually I have one finished sock and the other, that's right. So this yarn is from, I'm like Willow Tree yarn. And this is part of her slushy duo. And I bought this at the beginning of the summer or in the springtime, so I'm not sure if she has any of these in her shop anymore. But I loved this yarn. I love this color green. This was like my color in high school. I had a watch in this multiple times. I think I had watches in this awesome color. I would always gravitate towards this. I remember, like, you know, buying stuff in college, and if it had lime green, I was there. So when I saw these, I'm like, gotta get this. So this was her duo set, so it came with 2 50-gram minis, and my thought was, oh, I'm gonna try coming up with some like colorwork socks, because I haven't done colorwork socks before. I haven't really done much colorwork anyway. So I was playing around with mosaic knitting, and the sock that I was working on, it just like, it wasn't working with the yarn. by no fault of the yarn itself. I think it's just that the contrast between the lime green and then the speckly white base, there just wasn't enough of a contrast. And then the speckles are so dark. It wasn't working. Things were getting lost in there. So then I tried doing some stranded color work with like a really simple little geometric pattern. And again, I wasn't seeing the pattern that I was working on. So third time, restarted from the cuff, the sock, and I just went with vanilla socks because this speckly yarn is so pretty, and it was getting so lost in the color work that this was really made for more vanilla socks. Probably I'm sure there's a pattern sock out there somewhere, but like I said, this was the third time that I was trying to do the sock that I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go with the vanilla. I do have a fun little detail in here where I did is it a roll? No, it's not a rolled cuff. It's like a double thickness cuff. I'm sure there's a name for it and I don't know what it is. But so what I did was the first half of the cuff I did just in stockinette in this contrast color. And then I did the second half. I think it was 7 rows. I have to count this because I can't remember what it was. And I did the cuff again for my second sock last night. And I only did 5 rows of the green and then 5 rows of the speckle. And it was way too short. So I'm pretty sure it was 7. I have to look at it closely. But anyway, because these socks are just cursed. I keep messing things up. But anyway, that's why, girls and boys, you should keep notes on your socks. So that way when you do the second one, you don't have to worry about recounting everything. Yeah. So anyway, I'll eventually learn that lesson. No, I won't. Anyway, so yeah, you do the first half. Like I said, I think it's 7. I think I did 7 rows here. And then you switch over to the other color and then you fold it. And when you continue to do the leg now, you're going to knit into the stitches that you cast on. Does that make any sense? I hope it makes sense. It's really simple to do. Like if anyone's done like, a hat where you have like a double thickness, that's how you do that. Or a Pico edge sock. That's another really fun one to do. So where you would, over here, you would do like knit 2 together and then yarn over. That would make little holes so that way when you fold it over, you end up getting these nice little like Pico bumps. And that's really fun. That's a really pretty detail on a sock. So this one I just didn't do the Pico and it's nice and flat. So anyway, that's just kind of fun. It's like a little hidden green in there. So then, yeah, a few more rows, and then I did a Eye of Partridge heel over here, which is one of my favorites. Just gives it a nice little detail. And then, like I said, just really pretty. That speckle. Oh my gosh, I love that speckling. I hope it's showing up. It is just so many different colors in there. Like, you see the green and the teal, and there's like red in there. Like, red? So unique. I never would have thought to do that. Oh, I absolutely love it. Look at how pretty it is. It's even like some purple, if you like. I mean, I don't, it must be the red hitting the blue sometimes. Look at that, like really dark teal over there. So fun. So anyway, I got this first sock done. And like I said, last night I cast on the second one and then realized that I messed up the cuff. Take notes. Okay, take notes. Write the notes down. It's always a good idea. I think I actually do have the notes, now that I think about it. I just was too lazy to get up and look at my notebook. So that's the thing. Even if I follow my own rules and take notes, do I actually follow the rules by getting out the notebook and looking at it? I wing it too much, guys. Wing it too much. But whatever, just more time knitting. Could be worse, right? Oh, I should talk about this little stitch marker too. Isn't that cute? Little flower. And I got that from Midwest, no, not Midwest Stitches. Willow Tree Yarn. She sent that along. Cute. So, that's that pair of socks. And then, I think that's it for socks. Talked about that enough. I have a muscle burra hat that I'm making. And I'm doing this as part of the Nitty Bitty Sisters birthday knit along or stitch along. Yeah, you could do knitting or crochet. I will look up the hashtag and put it down here. So they are doing a fun little knit along to knit a beanie or a hat. And so I decided to do the muscle burra hat, which I was then told there is a muscle burra knit along happening as well. And again, I don't remember the details. I'll put it down below. But this is my muscle burra hat, and I've cast this on, I think, about a week ago. So we're getting somewhere. I am doing this in the Breaking Yarn Gray Matter colorway. I bought that a couple months ago. This is fingering weight, and I love this hat so far. Look at this yarn. It's just a gray tonal, but there's just enough variation in it that there's like light spots and dark spots. My husband, this is for my husband, and he loves this yarn. It's so soft, and it's, you know, it's knit at a slightly looser gauge than socks, so it's just really squishy and nice. So this what will end up happening if you're not aware of how the muscle burra hat goes. You start at the bottom and you increase until you get to your, you know, finished diameter. And then you're just gonna knit and make this really long. I think Nitty Natty refers to it as like a pickle. It ends up looking like a pickle because you go really far out and then you decrease again. And then you fold the hat inside of itself. So it ends up being like a double thickness hat, and then you have room to do like a fold over brim. So it'll make a really nice warm hat, even though it's in fingering weight. But you can do the pattern. I think it's written for starting at like maybe a heavier lace weight and then going up to maybe, it might even go up to bulky. I don't remember, but it does go through multiple yarn weights, and you don't have to measure gauge. You just, because every hat starts the same way, you just knit until you have enough that you can then measure your gauge, and then based on that gauge measurement, you can then look up, and then based on the size of the hat, because I think that pattern goes from infant all the way to adult sizes. Using those numbers, you can go into the charts and then find out how much you need to increase to get to the right diameter that you want, and then how long you want the hat to be. So it's a really ingenious, simple pattern. Highly recommend it. This is the second time that I'm doing muscle burra. Both times I've done them in fingering weight, although the first muscle burra that I did last year was in a heavier fingering weight, so I think I ended up with less stitches, but this is the same size. This is an adult large. I think I did a large for myself. I may have done a medium for myself, so maybe it's a little bit different, but anyway, like I said, it's just a difference in how many stitches are on the needle. So gotten that far so far. It's just chugging right along. So that's a lot of fun. And oh, I always forget to talk. I don't remember. Oh, that's going to be the theme of this podcast. I don't remember. MLD threads. Got this on Etsy a couple years back, and I think they're still in her shop. I've talked about this bag before. And then the other bag was also from my friend Crafting Euphoria on Instagram. And then I also have a Breaking Yarn what's it called? Pin. Breaking Yarn pin on this one. And this bag, we'll just go back and forth, has a Crazy Sock Lady pin. And it has a little Birthday Sparkles pin. I think it's Sparkles. I always forget. From Knit Picks. Their little unicorn mascot. You can get a birthday pin with an order around your birthday if you are signed up at knitpicks.com. So, pro tip, sign up at knitpicks.com and let them know your birthday, and you can get a pin too. All right, so here is my sweater, my Winter's Beach sweater that I've been working on, and this is in a bag by Midwest Stitches. And this is in, I think it's her size large. See, it's a much bigger bag. And I've gotten a little bit of work. You know, hey, look it, check it out. There's that other stitch minder. And this is on, not on size 2 needles. This is on size 6 needles. How's that? Okay. So here is my, now I'm going to need to take it off anyway so I can show you. Well, no, maybe I'll keep it like this so that way it's folded. So this is the Winter's Beach Cardigan by Andrea Mowry, and it has a bunch of cables in it. And so here's the front so far, and then the back. And so what you do is you knit up to like the armholes, and then stuff happens. I haven't gotten there entirely, but you can see it's bottom up. And the pattern itself over here, around here, what I should have done if I was following the pattern to a T was add in a afterthought pocket, but I am not going to put pockets in this. I don't see myself really wanting or needing pockets in a cardigan, so I'm not going to. That and I have like just enough yarn to do this according to the pattern, so just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room, I didn't want to add the pockets in just in case I was going to run out of yarn. And then the other thing is I'm probably going to do like the pattern calls for a really long cuff that then you fold over, and I'm not a really big fan of having like a really bulky cuff like that, so I might do a slightly shorter cuff anyway. So my burn here, I'm sorry. Kitchen disaster. Not really a disaster. I bang my you ever like hit, I'm sure, but like hit your arm in the oven, in the, what do you call it, I can't think of the name of the thing that you put in an oven. Well, anyway, I burnt myself on that. So that's neither here nor there. We're here for knitting, not talking about my injuries. So yeah, so I'll probably do like a bracelet length. Bracelet length sleeve. Yep, that's I am so tired. It's like 5:30. I'm hungry, I'm getting tired. I gotta just let's get this done. Okay, so yeah, bracelet length sleeve, and I didn't think that putting the pocket in the sweater was really gonna look right if I was gonna have a shorter sleeve. I don't know, maybe it would look fine. I think I'm overthinking this completely, but between that and worrying a little bit about the yarn, making sure that I have enough, I'm just not gonna do those pockets. But I think it would look really good if you did have plenty of yarn to add those pockets in, and then you could put stuff in them. Anyway, so this is my sweater so far. It fits, I mean, as best as I can tell, it looks like it's going to fit perfectly. So I'm really happy. And I'm just absolutely loving these cables. I think I've mentioned before, I know I've mentioned before that the pattern talks about doing cables without a cable needle, and that has been an absolute game changer. And so I've been really enjoying doing these cables because I don't need to worry about using a cable needle anymore. And then the nice little detail, I'll show you in the back. I think my marker here is showing where I was the last time I talked about this in the podcast. But I just love this nice texture. It's great. The sweater is going to be so good. I just need to get it done because the weather's getting cooler and I'm so excited to wear it. Oh, cannot wait. So that is the end of my sweater talk. That is all of my works in progress right now, at least as far as I can remember. Oh, you know what? I did have a washcloth that I finished. It's just a washcloth. Maybe we'll talk about it another time. Whatever. Just cotton from Dishy yarn from Knit Picks. And yeah, I finished a washcloth that had been languishing. It was in a bag on my exercise bike. And I was knitting on it when I would exercise before I had my baby. And since having my baby, I have not been really using the exercise bike anymore because, well, I had a baby, and now that it's summer, rather than exercising in the house on my exercise bike, I've been, you know, going for walks and that kind of thing. So I hadn't really gotten that finished, but I needed the needles that were on it to do the shawl, so I had to finish up that that washcloth. I was doing it as part, or I mean, I was inspired to start at least with the dimanche. I don't speak French very well. That Twin Stitches, Julianne from Twin Stitches Designs was running, but I started doing them on Sundays and then ended up just, like I said, doing it when I would exercise, and haven't been doing that a whole ton. But I don't have the washcloth anyway, so. So, all right, now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the yarn that I have in my shop. Like I said, I had a update last week, and you guys have been awesome, and I'm running out of yarn again, so I really got to get back to dyeing. But I have a few more things that are still in the shop, so I thought I would talk about those. I don't have everything that's in the shop right now, but because otherwise this podcast is getting long enough right now. So these are my September mini set. These are 20 gram skeins of fingering weight yarn, my 75-25 base that I do for the most part. And let's see, I think this one I was calling denim. And then this one is Last Day at the Beach. This one here is Sapphire. Not a pretty blue. And then I don't remember. I think this one I was doing Back to School, and I don't remember. Okay, I'm back. That's right. This one is Back to School. That's right, because this one reminded me of like a uniform sweater. And then this one is State Fair. That's right. Okay, so this is my September mini set because I just thought these colors are really pretty, and they just reminded me of my favorite month, September, which we're running out of. Can't believe it's already almost October. So this is in the shop right now. I have a few sets of these left. I like to use these for contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs, scrappy blankets. I love getting mini sets that have like all different colors in them. Like, you want them to kind of go together, but I like the ones that are like really wild, because then I have all of these different choices for, like I said, putting in socks or in scrappy blankets and not having them be, really similar. So that's those. Then I have this sock yarn. This one I'm calling Hey Boo, and this is in this again, it's on my 75-25 sock yarn, and this is a like See It From Space purple and pink. It's not showing up on camera quite as bright as it is in real life. I mean, it's not like, I just described it as being See It From Space, but I mean, it's really not like super crazy wild, but it is very bright and just colorful yarn. I'm kind of looking at it and like, oh, I kind of would love to knit like a sweater in this. I don't know, can I get this to show up? Like right over here, there's like these like bluish speckles, but they're not speckles. It's just the way that the yarn broke when I dyed it. There's a little bit of like blue here, because first a lot of the so this is all from one dye, but it breaks, and so you get these like pinks and purples and blues that came from it. It's really pretty. So I have a few skeins of this in the shop. Hey Boo. And then this is a DK. Ooh, there's a mosquito. Go away. This is a DK set here. This is in my Pumpkin Swirl and Haunted House, and this is a it's got like orange speckles in it, but then also some pastel splotches there of it's like some pink and blue and green. This is actually from the All Hallows Eve sock set that I did. this was a like kind of like the cousin to that. So All Hallows Eve had this as like the base color, and then had these pastel splotches in it, and then also black speckling on top of it. And then it came with a mini in this orange color. But for this one, I kind of flipped it around and was trying to decide which one to do for the spooky season stitch along. And so All Hallows Eve ended up winning the decision, but I still loved this yarn, and so I did pop it in my shop. I dyed a bunch of this on fingering, and I think all the fingering sold out, but I do have a few more left in DK. And yeah, look at there's some green back there, the blue up here. These spots are pretty subtle in it. There's not a ton of that. It's mostly just this really nice variegated orange with some speckling in it. So I guess then it comes with this pretty mini here, which is again, it's actually this same color, just a little less of it, so it's a little more on the pink side. And there's some, if you look closely, there's still a little bit of purple here and there. But isn't that cool how, you know, you can put a ton of dye in the dye bath, and then you get this really bright purple, but then a little bit less, and you get this slightly more subtle color. So that's that one. So there's a couple other things in the shop right now, but I am planning on doing a Christmas update probably in the next couple weeks. I have a few different colorways already done and ready to go. I actually brought some of those down to Salt Yarn Studio when we went last week. So anybody who saw me there got a sneak peek of some of those colors, but I'm not planning on releasing those quite yet. I want to get a few more colorways done. So I just don't have a exact timeline of when those Christmas colors are coming, but they will be in a few more weeks. And they are based on A Christmas Story, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. So I've got a bunch of different colorways based on quotes and characters from that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I will keep you all updated on that for sure. So that is all I really have to talk about today. There's not a whole lot going on in my life right now. We are back to school, so we homeschool, and the kids are busy with that. I'm trying to catch up on not only dyeing and sweater knitting and all of this stuff, but also cleaning my house. Before I had my baby, who's now 6 months old, I did a really big, your typical nesting, but did a big dejunking and started minimizing things and scrubbed everything, and my house was very nice. And then in the last few months, because I've had a newborn, things are kind of getting a little more hairy again. So I really need to go through and do another, clean out the stuff, minimize a little bit more, donate some things. We have a really nice thrift store a few towns over that I can donate any extra stuff to. So that is the big plan. What I really wanted to do too is my oldest two daughters have been taking sewing lessons from their grandmother, and they've knit some skirts and dresses, and one of my daughters made a cute little bonnet and other things. They made quilts. And so we've been having a lot of challenges trying to find dresses and skirts for them. A lot of the stuff that's in the stores right now, for one, there's just not a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's because of everything that's going on. There's just not a lot in the stores. Maybe people have bought stuff for back to school, but we don't have a ton of options. My daughters really like dresses and skirts, and they wear them all the time, and they want to be able to, some things need to be nice, and then they want other things that they can still play in, and we're just having a hard time getting this stuff, but they do know how to sew. So what I would like to do is get our basement kind of organized again. Right now it's kind of a play area, and it's just kind of gotten out of hand. And so we'd like to do some cleaning down there, getting things organized again, and then maybe what we could do is set up a sewing station, because that's one of the biggest problems that we have with sewing is, you know, you've got the machine and all of the needles and the thread and the buttons and the this and that, and when I have little kids around, I don't want them getting into it, so we have to set things up temporarily. And I'm trying to find, like, where can I set stuff up to keep it for a few days, so that way we can get these projects done instead of having to reset up every time. You know, you get a little bit of sewing done, then you got to put it all away. That's a pain. So I thought, let's kind of turn the basement into a dedicated sewing studio for about a week or so that way the girls can work on some sewing projects. So that's the plan, to get that place cleaned up. We'll see if that gets done. But you know, the other thing that I did is I made a big batch of Concord grape jelly for the first time. So we picked the grapes over at my parents' house yesterday, and then last night I got the juice from the grapes, which involved, you know, picking all the grapes off of the vines and breaking, like, you know, I took a potato masher and mashed up all the grapes, and we cooked them with some water, and that got all the juice out and strained all of the seeds and stuff out of there. And then you're supposed to let it sit overnight, so that way, I forget the name of it, but there were certain crystals that could form in the grapes, and you don't want that in your jelly. So let it kind of rest overnight, and then strained it one more time through the cheesecloth, and then added all the sugar into the cooking and the canning. And so we got 5.5 pints of jelly. So that was really fun. And we had peanut butter and jelly for lunch today, and it was so good. I highly recommend that if you have any Concord grapes in your yard. And a lot of us around here in New England do, because that made really, really tasty jelly. So really excited. And I think that's going to become a yearly thing. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's been the stuff going on for us. Cleaning the house, getting some canning done. I think I've got some tomatoes down in the garden that I really have to, we're going to have a ton of them. So I think I might be trying to can a few of those as well. We'll see. I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to talk to my friend Stephanie, Farmstead Knits, from the Between Knits and Pearls podcast, because she is like my canning extraordinaire friend. So Steph, get ready. I'm gonna have some questions for you, but I know right now she's moving too, so I don't want to bug her too much. So we'll see what I can do from the internet too. Thank God for the internet. So, well, I guess that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back. Hopefully, I know I said that I try to do this once a week or once every couple weeks, and then it took me a month to get back. So I'll be back as soon as I can to talk about the next update. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye-bye.